Well, students, we are going to discuss biogeography of islands. So, first of all, you must know what is island and what is biogeography. This is not an island of that being covered by a water or in an isolated area. Yes, the meaning of the island is in isolated area, but it is a remarkable ecosystem and that is different from surroundings is island. What is biogeography? Biogeography is the geographical distribution of organisms and how and why changes occur over a time. Island biogeography is called insular biogeography. This theory provides a model to explain the richness and uniqueness of species in a defined area. There, there may be plants and animals. Or in another language, you may call it that the richness or the diversity of the species in a unique or a isolated area is the biogeography of an island. And it is a good example of the natural selection also. It is closely related to the biodiversity of a specific area. Biogeography is the study of geographic location of the species. Now, what are the events which determines the richness of a species in an isolated area? First is immigration and extinction. This one. How and another point is that it is how far from the mainland, how big is the area, rate of extinction of a species depends on size of islands. This is called a species area relationship. If the area is bigger, then the extinction will be less. Far away the island and less species is called a species distance relationship. When immigration and extinction are equal at that stage, the graph, if we plot a graph about extinction as well as of immigration, then there will be an equilibrium that is known as turnover. A small island support a small population which extinct earlier. It means in a small area the chances of the extinction are higher. Now, what is speciation and extinction? That how the new species are being formed and how are they being extended. And the relationship between this diversity and the speciation and extinction and between the richness of the species in an isolated area was first of all studied by MacArthur in 1963 and 67, and he plotted a graph on that. In this graph you can understand that this is a model to understand the island's biogeography posed by MacArthur, as I told you, in 1963. This model considered the interaction of two main things, that is colonization, here you can see, and one another is the extinction, and then considers island size and distance from the mainland, whether it is close or it is a small or in a remote area. Both colonization and extension can be thought of in terms of rates and their probabilities. So this area, it shows the rate and probability of colonization, and here is the probability of extension, that how far it is from the mainland, whether it is a large or a small, and what are the probability of extension and or the immigration of a species. Island close to the mainland will be more readily receive colonists from that mainland, and similarly probability of the colonization of large island will be higher than that of small islands. We will understand these things by this diagram. Here this is the mainland, this is the island A, suppose this one is B and this one is C. So here you can see that this is the frequent migration. There are the chances of frequent migration and immigration from the islands which are nearer to the mainland. And there are less chances of the immigration and extinction if the island is far from away from the mainland, and these are the species. And if it is just closer to the mainland, then there will be richness of species, right? And as soon as it will become very far away from the mainland, then there will be less diversity, but there will be a richness of species. So similarly, we can express here that if the area is remote, then the large near to the islands, as this is the number of species, here you can see the number of species will increase as it is being large from the near to the main lands. Probability of colonization of large islands will be higher than that of small islands. Right? As I have told that small islands, they have higher rate of extinction. By the another diagrams. So the target effect, what will be the target effect if the island is nearer to the mainland or it is far away from the mainland? So the target effect will be larger islands have higher immigration. This is the result which can be depicted by this diagram. This is also the same biogeographic graph if we are plotting, and this is the islands far from the mainland, and this is the larger. Here you can see as soon as it is going, the number of species will increase, right? Now come to this few examples of the islands. Australia Island is a good example of the island which have richness of species and unique species. Galapagos is another island which have richness, diversity, richness of the biodiversity. And another is Cape Verde. Cape Verde is the island which was found out by the Darwin for the finches. Now, another thing is also being understudied by the islands biogeography, that is species versus extinction. That will be the rate of species and their extinction. The good well-known example of rhynchocephalia, that is Tortuga, that is Sphenodon punctatus, only found in New Zealand, because the New Zealand is an island and it is far away from other mainlands, and it is being confined only to that region. And because it is very far away from the rest, so there are the chances of its extinction, because there is no migration, no immigration of this species to the other lands. The another good example of the cucato as pest in cornfield in summer, and this is also at the verge of extinction. So hope you will understand the concept of the biogeography of islands. So this island, this is the richness for the richness of a species or an isolated area which is being known for the unique species of plants or animals. Thank you.